Hey guys, it's been a little while since I made a video. I've mostly just been in a loop watching the absolute worst anime ever, and not playing ITG. I've been spending most of my time exercising, actually just lifting weights. Something that I fell into a little while ago and I've been kind of passionate about lately. It's kind of funny, I was really into ITG for the last few years, and then there was this player that I knew named Sidro, and he kind of stopped and wanted to focus on lifting weights, and I just remember thinking that was crazy at the time, but now I totally understand how he felt. I was actually going to make a video about weightlifting. I thought that would be kind of cool. It's something that I'm passionate about now, and I actually remember what got me into it more recently in the last couple of years was a video made by PewDiePie where he talked about, his experience weightlifting in his house, and that kind of kicked me into trying to go to the gym again, essentially. So I've been thinking about making a kind of a neat edited video about how I do things at my house in my cheap little home gym. But somebody recently told me that my knowledge in fitness needs a lot of work. So I'm thinking I should just pause on that idea. Anyway, I was gonna make a video about my new travel pad. Now, not my old travel pad. Let me go get it. Oh my god. I should use this thing for weightlifting. This thing's heavy. So this is actually my original travel pad. This is the first one that I made. And I got a whole video. I got two videos, one talking about the design and then one where I built this thing. It is insanely heavy because the base is made out of this really thick plastic. But it's sturdy as hell. And I really haven't used it much, to be honest. It just sits here, takes up space, and looks pretty. But this is my new travel pad. It's actually a NATO design. This guy named NATO, he designed this pad that uses this extruded aluminum frame pieces. And it has these panels that are on hinges, and they open up. And I put on the back of the panels a bunch of panels from hentai magazines I just had lying around. I thought that was kind of cool. I got this as a kit from somebody on the Discord who bought all the pieces to make a NATO pad, and then just kind of gave up on it and said, "Well, looks a little too complicated." And then just sold me all the parts, and I put this together, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, I'm telling you, this extruded aluminum stuff is like adult Lego. It is so much fun to put these together. It is there's a couple things that are a little frustrating about this design. You really have to think about where you're putting in these little fittings, and you have to undo it and then redo it if you miss one. But I thought this would be fun to experiment with 2 sensors per panel, and I did that for all of the panels. There's 2 in each one, and I just thought that was cool, and I wanted to experiment with it. So it works great. I mean, I think I played on this twice, and I passed. I might have got a 16 on here without trying super hard. It also has lights, but I am so lazy that I'm not even gonna bother plugging it in. So I was gonna make a video about that new travel pad, and then I acquired another pad, and then I kind of stopped that plan because somebody sent me this. This is a Hendo pad. Okay, so there's this guy on Discord named Hendo who designed this pad. It is a very unique design. It has these aluminum pieces here that essentially this triangle piece here is the magic of this pad. It has a center panel that is custom. It's just a flat piece that is, I don't know, maybe laser cut or something. So it's the whole pad is this center panel, that triangle piece on the back, and then these little 3D printed, maybe, I'm not sure if they're 3D printed, these little hinges here. And that's essentially the guts of the pad. So Hendo showed me this pad that he was working on, and I showed some interest in it. I thought it was really cool. He decided to send me a prototype for free. So I wasn't gonna say no, and I got it. I set it up. It comes as like mine was like half put together. All the electronics were there, but I just had to kind of bolt all the little pieces together and put the panels on. And I gotta tell you, this thing is like, this design is so slick. This is so lightweight. Like the first pad I lifted was such a chonker. And then the second one is like, okay, it's heavy, but you can move it around. This is like so light. It feels weird to pick this up. It's so light. And it's kind of funny. There's nothing really holding the panels down. There's not that much friction. So if you pick this up and you're not really paying attention, like they just open up. Kind of like the spaghetti falls out of your pockets here. But yeah, this has lights too. And Hendo said that he was I forget what the price point was that he was targeting for this pad, but it was so cheap that it piqued my interest. I was really interested in whatever that price point was. Let's say it was $300. I'm not gonna go look, but it was so cheap for what this was that I was like, dude, if you make this, it's gonna make waves, because nobody has a pad that is you can just buy, or that is like really easy to put together. That's cheap. It's always like you gotta build everything yourself and figure out your own frame, or you do something really expensive like reflex, or you get in line for that like pad from the Netherlands, the travel pad, and then they sell out real quick. SMX sells out real quick. It's really expensive. So this is like a LTEC price. You could just buy, and it was like really good. And had lights and all this stuff. I mean, it just checked so many boxes for me that I got really excited about this project. So I got it. I tweaked it a little bit. I modded everything to how I like it. And then I think I passed a couple 16s on this. And there was, it was a little bit of work to get the pads to get to that point. But it plays great. It doesn't feel exactly like an arcade pad because it's not arcade parts. It's a little different. But I think one of the biggest things, if I remember, is the center panel is slightly smaller. This is like, it's like half an inch smaller than an arcade center panel. But, I was able to get used to it, and it works great. So I've got all these travel pads that I admittedly I don't really use, so I'm not really sure what I'm going to do at this point. But so I was kind of waiting to make this video. I was going to make a much more highly edited video talking about these two travel pads, and it just lingered on so much that I'm like giving up and making this. So that's why there's really no edits to this video. I'm not showing any of the lights or the videos of me playing. There's kind of a sad update to this story, which is that Hendo doesn't really want to make these pads anymore. I'm not sure exactly the details, but it seems like he kind of just lost interest in this project, and he made these designs, and he tested them, he revised them, he made prototypes to a couple people have them. I have one, and it works great. And he even bought parts for these, like bulk parts. I think he has hundreds of some parts that he got to manufacture these and sell them. And then he just was like, I'm interested in other things, and he wants to go focus his efforts somewhere else. So I think he's kind of tentatively looking around at seeing if somebody else wants to take the project from him and buy the parts that he has and maybe make these things. But I'm not exactly sure what the story is. But I just wanted to just give you guys an update on these different pads that I've accumulated. So I guess I'll end this video by saying that I am just so impressed by the engineering that went into definitely this pad. I mean, it's so lightweight. It is built down to a cost. You could tell that Hendo has some real experience in designing things to make it a price that could make. There's no extraneous parts. It is the minimum required to make this pad work, and this design just works so well to be as minimal as possible. It's fantastic, and I just really gotta commend Hendo for his design and manufacturing skills with this. It is very impressive. Oh, mamma mia! But I also want to give a big shout out to NATO for his pad design. Now his just to be clear, to clarify, his pad design does not come with the hentai, okay? I did that because I'm a Coomer idiot. But this is also a really, really cool design that makes use of a real arcade center panel, and it uses this extruded aluminum that I knew nothing about. But yeah, I guess NATO did the research on, or maybe he uses this at work or something. But it's a very clever design as well. It's much more beefy than the Hendo pad. But unlike the Hendo pad, you can buy all of these parts from a supplier that sells this extruded aluminum, all the fittings and everything. It's just off-the-shelf Lego pieces. And I think that's so cool that he designed this whole thing to just be like, you go to this website and you order this entire bill of materials and make a pad. It's awesome. It is really awesome. I like my pad too, the one that I made with the real arcade parts. But it's just so fascinating that the journey that different people come to end up at this same point of like, we have a pad with lights, FSRs, in the small form factor. But I just like monkeyed together parts that I had laying around. It was really inefficient. Nobody can ever replicate it probably. NATO built this thing that's super easy to replicate from just off-the-shelf parts that anybody can buy. And then you got Hendo with his mass manufacturable, lightweight, super minimalist, get pads in everyone's hands kind of design for as cheap as possible. And it's just fantastic. I really hope that somebody does this. Somebody brings these pads to the masses for the people who don't really want to make that journey or build them themselves. Even the NATO pad, there's a little bit of work to do it, even to the point where that person, got all the parts and said, oh, this might be a little too hard for me. So there's definitely a market here for somebody just to like make one of these pads real cheap, get them in stock all the time, all year round, in stock, ready to ship, $300, maybe $400, that range, and they're just gonna kill. I hope that's one of these companies like LTech or something takes this up, like takes the mantle from like Hendo and just brings this to market. That would be so cool. Yeah, I mean, at this point I'm just rambling about pads here, but anyways, I hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you guys have your own pads. If you want a pad and you don't have one, I hope there's a resource for you soon. If you haven't heard of the NATO pad or the Hendo pad before, I'll try to put some links down below if you want to like poke around and see if the cost makes sense to build one. There's a bunch of other projects too, by the way. There's way more than that. I tried to make this page on the ITG wiki to kind of detail some of these, but it got out of control. There's so many plans that people have and variants of like, I took this pad and then did a variant of it. Sujit's pad is an awesome design, uses laser cut wood. So there's a lot out there in this space, but I hope one day it gets even easier and you can just buy one. That would be so sick. So anyways, that's all I got. See you later.